All right, so our guest has 5 minutes to answer 5 randomly generated questions, one with a little trick question that we threw in there. I wonder which one it'll be. It will be not so subtly hidden, and it may or may not be not the first 4 questions. So there's your hint. Question number 1. We'll start off with a softball. Just kidding. What do you know is bad for you, but you continue to do it anyway?
Twitter. I was going to go much dirtier originally, but then again, Twitter is also very dirty and disgusting. It's something that, it's still not as bad as it was. I still, like, for instance, I haven't logged in there in like the last 3 or 4 days or something like that, right? So it's still way, way better than my addiction previously. But
only by the slimmest of margins, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Question number 2. This might be related. What type of things do you doodle? Doodle, not diddle.
So random.
Sorry.
I love it.
No, I heard you correctly. It's not that. It's more of... I like to think that my writing is horrible, like in terms of like the literal like handwriting, because like I got a little whiteboard in the corner there, and I got like a little tab or whatever, and I had this feeling that if anybody were to pick those things up at random, they would just think like a fucking psychopath has gone through there, because it's like it's just illegible. There are times where I pick up like little pieces I've written, and I have a hard time reading what the fuck I wrote on there. So like, God help any stranger that picks up that notebook and like sees all this random shit of like an Xbox controller outline. My last video, I was using an Xbox controller and drawing around it to map out like the chapters of the video, as it were, to figure out what's the best way to pace this thing. I won't delve into the details of that because it still doesn't really make sense, but it worked. So
nice. Question numero 3. What foods did you used to like but don't anymore?
It's not that I don't like candy. It's more of I don't understand how the fuck I ate entire bags of it as a kid growing up. Like, like the sugar keys and like, the fucking gummy frogs and stuff like that. Like I used to, as a kid, buy those little bags on the regular, and I'd pester my mom and, go through them and then, get canker sores for 2 weeks, but then not care, I guess. And as an adult these days, I went to a candy shop recently for like the first time in years, and I think that bag lasted like 6 or 7 months, like, because I just don't understand it. I would take 2 of those pieces, and not only am I jumping through the fucking window, I also feel like shit. So I don't understand what the fuck kids are made out of.
Yeah, it's not fair. Like you lose your magical powers of resistance to insulin and everything else as you get older.
It's pure cocaine and adrenaline is all it is.
Yeah, no, you can't convince me otherwise. It isn't cocaine.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that my son must have a stash somewhere because...
Oh, God. You
he just wakes up first thing in the morning, he's like,
woo!
And I'm like, okay, you need to calm down just a couple notches, just a tad, it's a little much.
That's the thing I'm glad that I don't have to deal with. I'm glad that, it's just me. I don't have to worry about a little kid, sort of having PTSD coming back at me in real time and me having to explain to them, no, that thing that feels amazing and tastes amazing, don't eat that. It's bad for you.
I don't believe you. All right.
Yeah. I just limit his like extremely sugary intake.
Yeah.
The good dad you are.
Otherwise it would be like trying to wrangle a gremlin.
Yeah, well that's the thing, it already kind of is a little bit. So yeah, you got a turbo gremlin.
Yeah, it is.
You don't want to fucking
make it worse.
Oh, they're like real life Pokemon, yeah? You got to take them around, you got to feed them, you got to look after them. You can't train into fighting death fights, of course, but
Alrighty, question number 4. What uncommon thing would you encourage everyone to try at least once?
That's actually a fucking good question.
Zing.
Well, I'm trying to I don't want to fucking what is something actually fucking uncommon? I don't want to say like basic bitch thing like, oh, go outside or see a movie or whatever. Like
Alpha Protocol.
Yeah, play Alpha Protocol. That's actually a fantastic answer. What was I thinking? There's no hesitation there whatsoever. No, play Alpha Protocol. Play in general, like just the thing that the whatever. I think you asked, like, you have this segment of, other people ask, the next guest a question. Mine, fuck it, I'll just say it. Mine is probably just going to be what my video was about from several years ago, which is what is the worst game that they enjoy. Because I think if I ever see like a YouTube channel where all they ever talk about and all they praise are the games that all have like 9 and 10s on Metacritic, I get a little bit suspicious. And, it's kind of like everybody should have at least like one 5 out of 10 game that they absolutely adore. They should have one piece of shit movie that got lambasted by critics that they will defend to the death. Something, that is completely about their own personal taste and preferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a
just
pretty
really
good
tell me
barometer.
this point is someone who's well known for literally that being most of what I talk about are things that nobody likes or not so well regarded. I feel like that's just
own that niche.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean,
Okay.
Who else is talking positively about Murdered Soul Suspect?
I won't. I played that game. It's 5 out of 10.
See, told you.
I'll still be. I give it credit that I do still think about it sometimes. It's one of the more. It's not 5 out of 10 for being boring or lacking any kind of goal. That's if more games were 5 out of 10 in the way Murdered Soul Suspect was, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, that's. I think. Yeah, and before we continue on, because I don't want to go on a tangent, we do this every time with questions like this. But I was going to say, I think people need to be okay with all games not being perfect nowadays. Like, I feel like everybody's always aiming for perfection, and they only want to play perfection, only want to see perfection. It's like every time a game that's it's pretty good. It's like you can have fun with it. It's not the best thing you've ever played in your life, and somehow everybody's it's terrible. I'm like, no, I mean it's good, it's enjoyable, but it's not like the best thing ever made in the last 10 years, but
Well, to add to, not to the, go on the tangent aspect of it, because I know this is supposed to be a bit for time, but, I made a video eons ago about communities or individuals, and I very much think about it whenever kind of, sort of that kind of sentiment kind of comes through, because, the people that, talk about, lambasting a game for not being, as like a 9 out of 10 instead of being a 7 or whatever. There's several legitimate reasons for them to be frustrated about that. And also, it's very probably not even close to the majority of it. You think back to how popular a game like Destiny was while it was simultaneously getting lambasted, and kind of rightfully so. It didn't live up to many of the promises that it was setting up. And it certainly didn't live up to the standard that Bungie had set previously with their original Halo games. But it was still incredibly popular, still played a lot by people. And especially now in this environment, people look back on that game very fondly for the people that spent time with it. So it's kind of a situation of the people that sort of, you're seeing. The way I think of it is that the people that you're seeing kind of in the main spotlight, of a particular game, that's just that current group. That spotlight is going to move to another group previously. It's why you can sort of see a trend of people simultaneously yelling about Doom the Dark Ages. Well, then you can go back in time and people yelling about Doom Eternal. It's because it's different people yelling about the same franchise. And of course, they're all put under the same banner of Doom fan. And, there's also a lot of encouragement to not, go into the nuances of those things. There's a lot of benefits that people have for putting everything under that one umbrella and uproaring an entire community and all that kind of stuff.
Somewhere Mayo's ears are burning.
He's like, my time is now.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
If you hear a jar of mayo, like if you hear a seal break somewhere in your house, be concerned.
It's okay. It's Polish mayo in my fridge. I don't need to worry about that. I don't think it's...
Damn.
I've never opened it up at any point and hear any conversation about weapon switching from it, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah, that would be safe. Might be safe.
Don't talk about alien isolation and good light, and you'll be fine.
We have one more question.
Don't provoke him. Alrighty. Last but not least, if you and Whitelight, whom we're hoping to God you know who that is, if you and Whitelight had a fight, that rhymes, who would win?
That's the thing is, I don't, I'm a lanky little bitch. So it's the kind of thing of, if he is just, anything more than like, a hot dog winger in strength, then he will win that. I'll talk shit to him while he's doing it, though. That's the thing. Like, I can't promise that, like, he could beat the shit out of me and I won't just kind of be laughing maniacally the whole time. So, we'll confront that at some point. It's funny you mentioned Whitelight, though, because I was just mentioning to a friend the other day of like an April Fool's thing I would like to pull with people regarding Whitelight. And I'm not going to go into details about that, but one day I hope to coordinate it. It would be very, very fun.